Hey guys, Armando here, back with a new build, my next figure build, and I have chosen to do the 1/6 scale Horizon Kits Green Goblin vinyl kit. It's a beautiful kit. There's a lot of recasts out there, but the price on the original was pretty reasonable on eBay. It was in the $30 to $40 range, and the box is a collector's item. It looks like a comic, really cool. So I've begun trimming the flash off of it. It's got a bunch of parts. I've trimmed most of the flash already, as you can see. There's still some areas that have flash on them. Let me show you what those look like. The feet still have flash on them, and the soles of the feet still have flash on them. There is a particular quirk with this kit that is going to make assembly of the glider a lot more difficult, and I found a build online that deals with this, and I guess that's what I'm going to have to do. Let me show you what that is. Okay, let's see here. This gentleman, or well, I'm assuming it's a gentleman, but it could be a lady, by the name of Wonged.com, has done a bunch of these Horizon kits, including this one, and he goes through what he had to do for his, because you see the wings of the glider, this is the right wing, have no surface detail on the inside. The outside has its detail. It's got the flash, which I'll have to trim off, but the inside looks unfinished. In fact, you still see the hole of the mold for the stepping stand, so that won't do. And what this gentleman did, or lady, was they used scratch built styrene strips in there and glued them on and sanded and puttied them so that they become part of the surface, so they became flush. And see, as he says, he puttied and sanded them to form the proper airfoil edges. So that means that's a lot of work I'm going to have to do there, but obviously I can't leave it like this. That's not gonna look good. So that's probably going to be the hardest part of the kit. Also, during the paint job, I'm going to try the salting technique, which I've never tried before, and this is as good a kit as any to begin it. I think it would be ideal for this chipping effect that I'm looking for, and I'm going to need to master that skill for my future Star Wars builds. I am planning on doing the 1/48 scale fine molds X-Wing. Now that Star Wars is coming up and the teaser's out, I'm kind of psyched for it, so I figured I'd go ahead and build them. And there's a couple of kits in the Star Wars universe that have that chipping and weathering, so it's a good technique to know. I'll be using that along with the scratch building of this. And another thing that I'm going to modify my technique for on this kit is I believe I'm going to paint him separately. Unlike the Spider-Man, this guy has some clear cutoff points between the green and the purple, or magenta, or whatever it is that is, and they happen to occur at the points where the parts glue on, so it's rather convenient, and it saves me from having a lot of tedious masking. So as you can see, for instance, the right arm is completely separate and it's all green, and the right hand and forearm are going to be purple. The same goes for the left arm and the left forearm and hand, the wrist, which are covered. They happen to go like that. So those are natural separation points that if I glue the whole thing together I would have to mask anyway. So rather than do that, I think I'll paint them all together. The only problem is going to be when I put the legs together. As I'll show you, there's some rather significant seams there, which surprises me. Now the seams can be fixed, and the fit is good. This is, after all, a Horizon kit, not a recast. As you can see, this goes right there, and although the fit is good, let me see, do I have the right leg? No, I don't. See, I'm trying to put the right leg with the left, right foot with the left leg. Where is the other one? Okay, here it is. Here we go. Okay, this fits pretty well. The fit is nice and flush, and it'll look good, but look at the seam. This is going to have to be addressed, and in order to get this thing to fit right, I'm going to have to do some sanding, some serious sanding and puttying, and blending in the scales so that they disappear, and that's going to be challenging. I'll paint both sides in the green and put them together, and then do the sanding, putting, and blending in, and then paint it again. But there's going to be some serious work to be done here. So this kit's going to be a little challenging, mainly in the glider scratch building and in those seams, which are in the legs basically. The arms are not bad. The arms, this is the right arm. Fits pretty well, and as I showed you, the right hand with the glove fits right on top of that. So those are for the most part going to be good. The waist also fits pretty good now that I've trimmed the flash off of it. I trimmed the flash off of the flame also. That's going to be cool. But I have some nice neat ideas for painting his face and the flame and all that. The eyes are supposed to be yellow, I think, the eyeballs. What I'll do is I'll use one of the Candy Alclad yellows. I've got a lemon yellow, and I've got another yellow there that's like a jaundice yellow. I think it'll be perfect for this. And then the pupil, which is 2 little holes, I can just color with the magic marker I used for the webbing on the Spider-Man. The teeth are supposed to be yellow. I can paintbrush those. There's a lot of neat coloring that can be done with this guy, but as I said, the difficult parts are going to be those seams in the legs and the glider scratch building, and there's also a seam up here where the cap or the hood thing meets the head. That's supposed to be flush because this whole thing is continuous and it's all going to be purple, so I'm going to have to take care of that seam. It's going to have to disappear. Now on the bottom it doesn't matter because that seam happens to correspond with the line on his forehead, and you can almost, this will be purple and this will be green, so you can almost chalk that up to actually this thing being on his head. So that'll be okay, but this seam here, this one needs to be taken care of. Anyway, that's the Green Goblin, one of my favorite villains. And hopefully I can do him justice and make him look good, so he can accompany the Spidey. They're in the same scale, and I think they'll look cool. Anyway, talk to you later. Alright, so I am done with the main trimming of the flash, along with some filing and some sanding, and I've washed the parts with soap dish detergent, and I'm set to begin priming with the Transtar Gray. Here's what I could do with this. I was able to slice off all the excess flash, and I used the grinding and polishing Dremel tool to get this down as smooth as I could, at least in preparation to add the scratch built triangular styrene pieces, which I will be doing shortly. I will follow these lines. These are the lines that indicate the other side, the the creases between each panel, I guess, and I'm going to try and duplicate that on this side by making each panel separate for a total of 4 panels. Hopefully I can get them to be as flush as I can with these edges, and then I'll try and sand and putty them so they become seamless. We'll see how it comes out. Oh, and here also. This is the front of the glider, and as you can see there's a triangular defect down here which is going to be visible, so this needs to be fixed. Anyway, that's the extent of the scratch building that I'll have to do with this kit. The rest is painting, basically, making sure the paint is good. Okay, I'll be back later. This is the first scratch built piece I've made. I simply took some styrene. This is 0.03 by 12 by 24, but it's 0.03 is what's important, the thickness, plain sheet. And I've got pieces here that I'm playing with and cutting. And I cut a rectangular one, and then I just simply cut it with my scissors and filing and with the Dremel tool, again, the grinding tool, which effectively melts it. It's very effective for this thing. I've trimmed it to a point where it's reasonable now. It feels fairly flush. I'll just glue it, and all those seams and all that will be filled in with putty later. The important thing is to get them all lined up and glued in place. Hopefully I can achieve a crease down the middle here that looks like the one in the back. I mean on the front. So it looks like a natural part of the glider's wing. Anyway, I'll be back later. Here's the second scratch built piece, and this one fits even better than the first one. Almost like it was made for there. So it's coming along nicely. I'll go ahead and glue this one on and then continue. Got 2 more to go. This plastic is actually pretty easy to cut. I'm just using a regular pair of scissors, and it's easy to grind and shape, so it'll work out pretty well, I think. On to the next one. More progress. Third aerofoil trimmed to size, and I'm about to glue it. So it's coming along. Last one. And it fits like a glove. So now, glue them in. That'll get all that part covered up, and we can proceed with the puttying and sanding to blend this in with the edge. Here's a port wing completed. Everything is glued in place. Now it's just a question of blending it in. We'll see what we can come up with. I'm back, and I've completed the initial round of sanding and putty. As you can see, the putty is freshly applied. Before I applied any putty, of course, I vigorously sanded with 320 grit. There it is. 320 grit to even out the edges and get them as smooth as possible. In some spots where the plastics were close together, it became so smooth that you almost didn't need to have putty in there. But of course the gaps were pretty big because these parts are scratch built, so I fully expected to have to use plenty of putty. So I went ahead and went all around. I also puttied the
the joints between the plates, because although they didn't look so bad, I wanted to make sure that I could create my own straight lines along the joints themselves to look as straight as these. So I'll just let this dry overnight because it's getting kind of late here, and I think I'm gonna shut it down for the night. Need to get some sleep. But tomorrow I'll go ahead and sand this and see how the initial sanding comes out and looks, and I'm sure I'll probably need to apply more putty and do more sanding, but that's just the nature of the beast. But this is looking good. If it works, this should be a nice smooth surface with the 3 creases, and I'll have my wing, this is the right wing. I'll have my right wing completed, and then I'll turn my attention to the left wing. Do the same thing. So that's it for now. Talk to you soon. Back at work on my Green Goblin. I've finished the first round of puttying and sanding on the scratch-built inferior surface. Still some roughness along the edges. I think what I'll do next is I will primer it, see what defects are out there. The primer does tend to bring them out, and then I'll resand. But so far so good. Okay. Well, after a couple of rounds of sanding and primering and puttying and sanding and primering and sanding again, here's what I've got. There's still a suggestion of a seam there, as you can see. Also, this thing is not completely rigid, so when you open up the C, it'll cause cracks in the center. So I have to be careful, but the overall impression is that there is a surface on the inside, which is what I was looking for, just like in the model. Once I weather it and apply the salting technique and all that, I think it'll look just fine. So I'm gonna call this one done and move on to the second one. As you can see, huge difference. Looks much better. So I'll accept that. I think that'll look fine. Alright, talk to you soon. Working on the second wing, as you can see, all the panels have been glued and initial sanding has been done and putty has been laid down. I'm also working on the front faceplate of the glider. I've cut out a piece of leftover vinyl from the flash. I glued it and I did the initial sanding. As you can see, it smooths out the edges rather nicely, so that now I can lay down my putty and blend it in. I'm trying to smooth this out here and over here so I can lay down some putty and blend it in as best I can, but this area will be in the back anyway. It sits here, so it won't be as visible. Just like that. Doing it with one hand is kind of tough. Okay. Like that. So really what I want is for these edges to look as clean as possible. That's the most important thing. It would be nice to hide those gaps there. And I will. I'll work on that some more. Okay. Hey guys, back with another update on the Green Goblin. And I've gotten a lot done. Let me go through it with you. This is the basically completed posterior plate of the wings. I've glued this one on already. I know that the plates are still visible, but I accepted that because frankly that's all going to be on the bottom, and what I needed was for it to look finished. So I'm fine with it. The forward face of the glider also completed. I've applied primer to everything, and I've gone ahead and pre-shaded with black everywhere that I want to emphasize muscles, except the legs, which I have glued together and I am working on right now. I've already done an initial sanding with a 320, and I've applied my my putty, and I'm getting set to do the next sanding to see how it comes out. So I'll come back when I have that, and then we'll do some more of it, because I'm sure I'm going to do some more sanding and putting and sanding. Talk to you soon. Back with a Green Goblin. I've completed assembly of the legs, and the seams have been knocked down to the point where they have become quite unnoticeable. They're not completely gone, but it's good enough for me. I also glued the bottom sole. This kit, for the life of me, I don't know why, the sole is a separate part. It has a seam, of course. I knocked it down as much as I could, but since the important thing is that on edge no part is seen there, and I accomplished that, I'm happy with this. I'll leave it like that. I've pre-shaded everything, as you can see. Here's the left leg. Seam is almost gone. It's there still, but with the paint hopefully it won't be that noticeable. And again, the sole of the foot has been attached and sanded down. I've also mixed up the purple by taking red and adding blue to it until I achieved the shade I was looking for, and then a little white to lighten it up. Came pretty close to the purple that is on the box, and the build that I'm following, let me show you that build. It is by Wong.com. He's done a bunch of Horizon kits, and amongst them is the Green Goblin, so that's fairly close to what I'm looking for. And I've begun painting. Here's the torso with the belt strap masked off. I'm very happy with the way the tone has come out, and here's one of the gloves. Got it under the light. Good tone, I like it. It's going to contrast well with the green, and he's going to look sharp. So I'll finish all the purple parts and then work on the green. So that's it for now. Talk to you soon.
Some more progress, and I apologize for my muffled voice. I have my mask on. And if you don't believe me, here I am. I'm Bane. Anyway, I done the boots. As you can see, those are attached, so I had to do some masking there. Here's the other one. Got both gloves. And I've got his hood. So next, the head needs to be masked because this area is purple, whereas everything else is green. The eyes I'll probably do with some yellow alclad, and the teeth with yellow as well. Then I have to come up with that green, which is, I guess it's sort of like a green pea or fluorescent type green. I've already got a green that I mixed up for my Cylon Raider, which I've been saving. Although a lot of it is evaporated. Let me see here. Yeah. It's all leaked out. Looks like I'm gonna have to remix it. The problem with these cups, they don't hold on to the
to the thinner very well, so anyway, I'll work on that. But he's coming along, looking really mean. Okay, talk to you later.